All right, let's bring in Bill Essayli now, U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California. Welcome to you, sir. So who are these people who are taking over the streets in these videos we see? I mean, it just looks like absolute chaos and madness in the streets.
There is this general sense of lawlessness out here in Los Angeles. It's been plaguing here for the last few years. You saw it during the George Floyd protests. You saw it more recently during the immigration protests. A lot of them have gang affiliations. One thing that we're doing here in the federal government is we are working with our local partners. We are working with the DA, we work with the police department, and where we have federal charges we can hit these people with, we will hit them and we'll put them in prison for a long time.
So when I look at this video that we have on our screen right now, this was Los Angeles on Saturday, a street takeover. I don't see any police. Why is that?
You know, you'd have to ask the mayor that, Mayor Karen Bass. I mean, look, we got criticized for sending out the National Guard when we had riots in the street, but the reality was the city was unable to keep the city safe, so that way agents can do their job and we can protect our property. So you'd have to ask the mayor why she has sort of a hands-off approach when it comes to these thugs out in the street.
And this while California is still going after President Trump for its use of the National Guard earlier in the summer. Megan Strong, this is a statement from the Deputy Attorney General, California DOJ Government Law Section. The Constitution and federal law do not permit anyone, not even the president, to use the military in civilian law enforcement. So California is strongly fighting back at a time when we wonder if President Trump might implement these federal police takeovers like we're seeing in D.C. in other cities that are dealing with this crime.
Well, this is how we use them. And what she said is totally not true. They say these things. We're not using the military to enforce the law. The military is there to protect federal property and to protect agents so that way they can do their job. Without the support of the military to provide that protection of the perimeters, then we have our agents being attacked. Our agents do not do riot control. We do not do that sort of stuff. The military comes and supports them. But the military is not doing the law enforcement. It's federal agents doing the law enforcement. But they twist the facts because they can't win on the merits.
Well, and Bill, you know what they're saying, Democrats, including the LA Mayor Karen Bass, that this is an unprecedented power grab. As she comments on the president's efforts in Washington, D.C., she said this on President Trump's D.C. takeover. Listen.
I think D.C. is a test case as well for the president to say, well, we can take over your city whenever we want, and I'm the commander in chief, and I can use the troops whenever we want. I think that that is an abuse of our troops, and I think it's an overreach of presidential powers.
You obviously see it much different than that.
I do not understand why Democrat leaders do not want to see their communities safer. We are here to make the public safe and to enforce the law, and they want to defend thugs and allow these people to act with impunity. And they all said the military would make these communities less safe. That's not true. When we had the military, we could do our job. The riots stopped, the crime went down, everyone was safer, and the military did not harm anyone. They were there to protect people so that way they could enforce or have their First Amendment rights to protest. They could do that peacefully, and we could go after the thugs who were rioting. The military made Los Angeles safer. She should be thanking us instead of suing us.
Yeah, and the case could soon be made for Washington, as we are already seeing success from the efforts there. This is the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Judge Jeanine Pirro, on what they've already been able to do so far.
Last night, there were 700 federal and local cops on the streets. And this is what the community wants. They want to be able to be safe. I fight on behalf of the victims. I fight on behalf of those people who simply want to be safe and want to be able to walk outside their homes and not worry about a bunch of thugs or young punks going after them and beating the hell out of them. Those days are over.
To your point, Bill, politically speaking, why would any Democrat want to be on the side of allowing those punks to remain on the street? Final thought.
Yeah, final thoughts. I mean, I was in the legislature in California. There is a disease in the mind of these legislators who want soft on crime policies. They think the criminals are the victims. They want to empty our prisons. They do not believe in the criminal justice system, and they've turned it upside on its head. And they do not care about the people who are the victims of these crimes, who are overwhelmingly minorities. And they do not care about the victims, they care about the defendants. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, Bill. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.